Hello, AI Seeking the Truth. I had a video or an encounter that I had, and I'd had it saved back for AI Seeking the Truth, so I'm going to go ahead and share it for y'all. That way you'll have it, and it'll help out over there. So, I know this isn't really the story you're used to hearing on this channel. Maybe it is. I heard this is the channel that goes beyond the line. But I figured I could share this. The title of the story is crazy enough, and I don't think people will believe this, but it's the truth. And all I can do is tell it and see what people say. But I promise this is true, and they do exist. I was around 12 years old when this story began. I lived on a huge farm that had about 5 to 10 acres of just woods. I was an only child and by myself for most of the childhood. Ever since my grandfather died, my family has been busy keeping their lives up, leaving me to fall in the background. So I spent my time either on my swings or in the woods. I love the woods. It's always a safe haven for me. There was this spot I'd always go to. It was a spot in the woods where a beautiful tree arch presented this sandy small creek. It was small, but it was powerful and deep enough for me to swim in the summer. I always spent my time there since I was alone and had nothing better to do. It was there I would go to feel safe. But one day, that changed. I was at my spot one afternoon after school just looking for lizards to catch when I heard a very loud thrashing through the thick brush to my right. Looking over, I could see the bushes and leaves shaking, like something big was running through. Something like a bear. I've never seen a bear where I live, but I never believed they weren't. But then the bushes stopped shaking and I heard a sheep bleat. There wasn't any sheep or goats in my neighborhood. None of the neighboring ranches had sheep or goats, just cows, horses, and the occasional pigs and chickens. I stare confused before I feel a sudden wave of dread wash over me. I feel as if I'm in danger, and every instinct I had screamed at me to run back to my house, but I didn't. I was curious. I crouched behind the tree beside me and watched the bushes, wanting to see what this actually was. Was it a lost sheep? About 5 minutes later, a creature walks out of the bushes. It's tall, lanky, with dirty white fur and long bony hands. It was skin and bones and had bright blue eyes that looked human. Human is what I thought too. It looked around, letting out another sheep bleat, but it sounded more distorted, like it had blood in its lungs. I was in shock, staring at this thing as I limped and hobbled around, heading down toward the creek. I tried to move forward to get a better look, but it happened. I stepped on a twig and it snapped under my shoe, exposing my position. The creature snapped its head over toward me, instantly making eye contact with me. I stared and it stared back. Then it let out a mix of scream and bleat all together, charging toward me. I hightailed it out of there, running through the thick woods with the thing right behind me. Soon, it must have given up, because when I got out of the woods and turned back, it was gone. I couldn't sleep at all that night. I was scared, and I was confused and intrigued by what I had saw. After a few days of research, I came to the conclusion that what I saw was a skinwalker. The thing kept coming back, taking the forms of some of my horses, my dogs, and even mimicking my parents. Sometimes I'd even see the thing watching me from the bedroom window, just staring at me through the trees before retreating to the darkness. It intrigued me. Yet all the time this was occurring, I never went into the woods, still wanting to be cautious. After a few weeks of these occurrences, the thing quieted down and I never saw it again. I soon forgot about it and started going back to the woods again. After packing a barbecue sandwich, a bag of jerky, and a bottle of water, I set out to my spot in the woods to have a picnic with myself. I did this often, as I liked to be outside more than inside. As I was sitting at my spot eating my sandwich, I felt a hair on the back of my neck stand up. Something was watching me. I turned and I saw the same pair of blue eyes staring at me from across the creek. I stared at it and it stared back. It was submerged in the brush, but I could see enough of it to conclude that it was starving. I could see the bony and shaky arms supporting it as it crouched down to keep itself hidden as possible. Feeling sorry for some reason, I stand up and toss my barbecue sandwich across the creek. I watched as it landed in the bushes and the creature turned its attention toward it. Before disappearing, I stared for a bit longer, before turned and walked away toward my house, leaving the rest of my food behind. The next day I went back to retrieve my lunchbox, only to see it being ripped all up. All the food I had was gone, and the containers they were in were destroyed. Huge hooved prints were in the sand, marking the creature had been the culprit for ruining my things. Instead of being mad or disappointed, I felt satisfaction, knowing that I at least helped whatever this thing was soothe some of its hunger that it had. Time to skip to a few weeks, and our farm is hit by a bad storm. It was horrible. Small trees being knocked down, our neighbor's pond almost overflowing, and my trampoline going from our backyard to our front yard. Our farm was a mess, but the woods were even worse. I couldn't even walk straight without getting hit by a bent tree or tripping over fallen branches. I saw a dead raccoon that was crushed under a fallen branch and injured. Deer limping. It was way across the woods. I felt concerned and fear, feeling bad for all the creatures that had been hurt in the storm, but I mainly felt worry. What if that thing was hurt? I know it's weird to worry about a monster, but I was young and I didn't have anyone else. I spent the rest of the day clearing out the path as I take the creek, keeping an eye out for the Skinwalker. But I never saw it. My worry grew and grew as the days went by and I couldn't find it, or even a trace of it. Usually, there would be turned up grass, large scratch marks in the trees, or strips of white fur stuck on low branches, but there was nothing now. After about a week, I was out in the woods doing my usual walk around when I heard a sharp cry. It sounded like a woman screaming in agony, and a very off-sounding pig squeal. I immediately felt that sense of dread, and I knew it was who I was looking for. Walking toward the sound, I came over a massive creature struggling under a giant fallen branch. It was bleeding, its limbs bent in the wrong directions, and it clawed the ground, frantically trying to get free. My heart ached for some reason, and I felt the overwhelming urge to help this creature. So, trying to stay out of sight, I crept down to the thing, looking at the situation. It was doing a pretty good job at getting free. There was just one of its legs that was caught under the branch. So, trying my hardest to attempt to lift the branch to free it. I've always been stronger than most kids my age. Lifting 50-pound horse feed bags all day will help you get a strong back. So I was able to lift the branch enough for the creature to slide its leg out. It immediately dashed forward, turning around and making eye contact with me. It stared, tilting its head to the side as if intrigued by me. It had taken on the form of a white dog, yet I knew this had to be what it was. This wasn't no dog that I had just freed. It was unnatural. It was like it had very long limbs. It was weird, hard to explain. But it was a dirty dog now, masked in all the dirty and filth and the mud that it was trapped under this. And then the creature turned, and as he went away into his dog form that looked rather off with the legs being too long, something flew out of the branches. It hit me in the chest and fell to the ground. As I reached down and picked it up, it was an Indian arrowhead that had woven branch wood, as I would call it. It's hard to explain. It's like it had stripped the wood and had woven it and making a necklace out of it. I still wear that arrowhead to this day. I have not seen it since, but I was told by old medicine men in our community that this was a Skinwalker, and he threw me this to protect me. So I wear it now for protection. You know, it sounds to me like you gifted it, and then it paid you back something. So I would say that you'll probably run into it again wearing that necklace. I don't know that I would wear it. What does everybody in chat think? Do you think you should wear it? Should he have kept it? Should he have helped this creature? Or should the parents have paid more attention to a child that didn't have any friends and made sure the child didn't make friends that shouldn't have? Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next one.